Hey guys, Jordan Taylor here once again from STARTA.ca, and welcome to another video in our little mini video series here. So, in the last video, we spoke about content marketing and why content is really going to be the key to growing your brand or business with a digital audience, right? So we want to kind of go along that journey, right? And continually going along that journey, the next part of the journey is going to be monetizing, right? The part that everyone is waiting for. How do we actually make how do we make the money, right? How do we connect with our audience? How do we get paid? How do we start to make a living from this stuff, right? Now, I'm going to share with you some ways you can do this, and there's no one way to do this. There's several. You've probably heard of a lot of them, but I want to kind of break down a few of them. And what I like to call these different vehicles, to drive the money into your bank account, what I like to call them are arms, right? So if you think of it like you're growing an arm, and then at the end you have a hand that literally grabs the money and then puts it in your pocket, right? And because I'm a huge fan of acronyms, ARM stands for Audience Reach Method, because it is the method in which you reach your audience, right? Now, there's a couple of these that you can also do for free as well if you want to continue to build the relationship you have with your audience as well. But the main goal that I have for you guys today is going over ways that you can connect with your audience and also be compensated for it as well. So I'll just kind of go over a few of them, and then we'll see which ones we like. So one way, probably the easiest way to kind of connect with the audience is what I call external content shares, right? So, for example, what this could be is, as you're kind of starting out, right, if you want to kind of see what your audience likes and what resonates with them, right, if you are into the world of cooking, right, I think we spoke about that in one of the last videos. So if cooking is your thing, right, and you notice there's an article that you really liked, share that with your audience on your brand. Said, hey guys, saw this really cool article in the Times and talking about, the future of cooking. And I think there's a lot of value in it, and these are the reasons why I agree with it. Or, you could do the opposite and say, you know what, I like what they said about this, but I think you could even make it better by doing A, B, and C. Right? You add something to it, right? You're still sharing a lot of value with the audience, and you're not trying to plagiarize, you're not trying to take credit, right? This could be something as simple as sharing a post on Facebook, right? If you make a Facebook page for your brand and you see something that you're already looking at anyway, because hopefully you're into whatever it is that, that you're building your brand around, and you share the article with your fans or your followers or your customers, right? Something that you think would be valuable for them. So that'll be one way you could do it, right? And kind of going along with that, another way to reach the audience as well is after sharing that those external content pieces with them, is engaging with them on social media, right? I think that kind of goes without saying, but that is another way for you to reach your audience, right? And if you allot certain times for it, right, it might make your life a little bit easier as well. So engaging on social media is another great way that you can connect with your audience. Another way you can do is by live broadcasts. So doing, Instagram Live, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, right? So there's a lot of different ways you can do that, right? I know for some people that's a little bit of a nerve-wracking experience sometimes. Right? I've done it a couple times on my personal account, just kind of trying it out, and I do plan on doing this here on STARTA as well. So if that is something that you would love to see, by all means, let me know. But that's something that I'm planning on doing here. So just to so you can kind of see it in practice. Right? The next thing you can do is videos, right? So that could be something like this here, right? Going on IGTV or making a video, putting it up on YouTube, Vimeo. You can put videos pretty much anywhere, Facebook, Twitter, anywhere, right? So what we want to do is create videos around different topics, and you can kind of flush those out later, but just kind of give you an overview of some of the ideas, right? Video is a really good way of engaging with people because it really lets your personality shine, right? If you want to take a more edited approach and you really want to fine tune how you come across to your audience, you can do that as well. If you want to keep it super raw and real, you can kind of go that route also. So really cool way for you to connect with your audience is through video, right? Another way that you can connect is via something like a podcast, right? That's something that I'm working on for STARTA, and hopefully I'll have ready to launch shortly after these videos are done. So I'm working on that as well. So just to give you kind of an inside scoop, so picture kind of like a talk show or a radio hour, but with valuable information for those of us who want to build and grow online businesses, right? So a podcast is another really cool way of connecting with people. I think right now it's a really popular medium, and it's a very, very easy way to connect with people, and I will touch on that a little bit later, and then also in the next video. But that's another great way to connect with your audience that way. Another way that you can make money and connect with your audience is paid member engagement. All right, so what do I mean when I say that? Right, if you've ever heard of Patreon or Indiegogo, Kickstarter, even talking, about podcasts again, Anchor.fm is another platform that if you live in the US, you can actually monetize, right? And they're looking to kind of build into other countries as well. But basically, what paid member engagement is. So let's use the podcasting example. So you put out your podcast for free, right? But you also have what you might call premium members of your podcast, right? Or premium fans, whatever you want to call them. And what those people are is people who pay you, maybe it's $5 a month, and for that they get access to, you recording your podcast, right? Or they get access to a Q&A call or live stream exclusively for them after the podcast is done. Right? A lot of different things you could kind of do, but basically people pay a monthly amount or a one-time amount to be able to get exclusive engagement that people who experience your content for free don't get, right? So they kind of get that premium VIP experience, right? So that's another way that you can connect with your audience, and you can also make some money that way as well, right? And then another way, this is kind of the final step that I'll take for today's video. We'll dive deeper another time. But another way that you can connect is through, paid, whether it's services or consults. So, for example, going back to our cooking example, if you want to, either cook for people, like as a service-based business, right? Paid service. You can, charge people that you'll, cater for their event, right? That could be that's a little bit more traditional, but it's still viable through online business as well, right? You can still do those traditional services. It's just online is how you're actually marketing the business, right? And how you're running it as well. It's all done through online. And we'll kind of dive deeper into the tools that are set up for you to do those kinds of things later on in future videos. But these are some of the ways you can do that. And also consults, right? So that could be, say you don't have the means to, cook for somebody. Again, going back to our cooking example, say you don't have the means to be able to cook for somebody, right? What you can do is consult for somebody, right? So you could do something like, hey, what is it that you're looking to cook or prepare or bake or whatever it is? You can take that information, come up with a recipe or come up with a way of preparing something, and you send that back to your customer, right? And you charge people a one-time fee for that, right? Or you can make that a monthly thing as well, right? I'll talk a little bit more about monthly versus one-time payment methods in a future video, because I think there's pros and cons to both. So I'll touch on that on a later video. If that's something you guys would like, let me know. But that is definitely on the roadmap for one of the other videos that we will be tackling later on down the line. But going back to the podcast thing, that's going to be the next video that we're going to talk about. And I have been having a lot of fun producing podcasts lately. The STARTA podcast that I'm working on for this channel, if you will. This is the third one that I've done, and I follow a very specific process how to do it, and that's the process from everything from coming up with the idea for an episode to how it's actually promoted and how we drive more and more people to come to the podcast, right? So I'm gonna dive deep into the method that I use for building and growing a podcast, and how it can also run on autopilot. So that'll be the next video. Once again, if you haven't gotten the free guide, the Online Empire Jumpstart Guide from the previous videos, I highly encourage you to download that. I'll put that in the link below. Also, the link will be in my bio, or you can go to starta.ca, STARTA.ca, to get that Online Empire Jumpstart Guide, and that will actually help you in the next video with the how to kind of build a podcast. So thanks so much for watching this video. I will see you on the next one. Cheers.